We finally got the name of the new mode. We're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna skip around some stuff. Anyways, it's called Dominion, and we'll read about it. Introducing Dominion Chapter 2's new 5v5 objective mode. First of all, this art is fucking sick. Also, this is not the skin that we saw at the end of the leagues thing. It's a little bit different. It doesn't have a hood. We'll get into that, right? Okay, so first we got to learn about Spellbreak's new 5v5 objective-based game mode. Okay, boom, right off the mat. It's a 5v5. We knew that. We already knew that. Let's get into what it is. After weeks of teases and months of hearing about Spellbreak's new game mode, we'd like to introduce you to Dominion, a new 5v5 objective-based game mode debuting with Chapter 2. Dominion goals. We wanted to start off by detailing our goals with Dominion. When we first started talking about this mode, we wanted to highlight a few things. 1, small scale team versus team combat. Y'all been asking us to make a small scale game mode for as long as we can remember. Yeah, for literally since pre-alpha. And we definitely agree. Spellbreak's combat shines in small scale skirmishes, and highlighting that is one of the primary goals for this mode. Fuck yes, I agree. I like this idea. 2, objective-based win conditions. Similar to the above, a mode focused around objectives instead of raw damage or downs exiles has been requested and discussed for a very long time. Yeah, we have Clash in the game currently, so we don't really need another just damage exile game mode. So I think it is good. It's step in the right way to have a little bit of an objective type of thing. Incorporating light PvE. Okay. Another often heard request, and something we're excited to explore more, is fighting against explicit NPC characters, which might be what that little character was in the bottom left that we saw, which is, I think it's the same skin as this one right here, but we might find out that later. Team synergy and strategy. We want who you play with and how you build your character to matter. We want Dominion to allow different metas to develop that force players to adapt and change over time. We want more skilled players and teams with great synergies to excel. Well, we'll see how that goes. I think it's gonna be a little bit too casual, a little bit more too RNG based, but we'll see. We'll see when it comes to builds, but we'll see. Variations from match to match. That said, each match should still end up playing out differently between multiple maps, various controllable RNG factors, and straight up surprising opponents. Each match should feel different. My favorite thing about this part is that they say various controllable RNG factors, which means they are controlling the amount of RNG that we have, which every game does that. But this makes me think that, like, if it's 2 RNG, they might change it to be less RNG. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I don't really know how that goes. Number 6, and the final one, keep the stuff that works. In Battle Royale and Clash, both the match duration as well as the progression in level and gear feel good. We wanted to make sure we kept that. I don't agree with that. I don't think the gear progression feels good in either one of those. So I hope that this gear progression is a little bit faster, because right now gear progression in Battle Royale and Clash feels insanely fucking slow. So I hope that changes with that. That does not make me very excited for that part. Match goals. The goal of Dominion is to be the first team to reach a point threshold by capturing and controlling 3 different zones. So it is going to be a capture control point on the map, as well as exiling players on the opposite team. If the score hasn't been reached after 15 minutes, so that timer is 15 minutes, not 10 minutes and 32 seconds, which we saw. The team with the highest score wins. As of this writing, the point threshold is 75 plus 15 number of players on a team. Okay, so it's gonna be 75 no matter what, and if there's only like 4 people on each team, then it'll be plus 8. You know, wait. Plus 15 number of players on a team. Okay, if there were 4, it would be 135 and so on. Okay, got you. So if it's max, the point will be 150. Team format. Every match of Dominion features 2 teams of 5 players maximum. So it's not gonna be a three team. It's not gonna be 6 players on a team, blah, 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 and so forth. We settled on 5 players because it's a small enough number such that each individual player has a meaningful role to play and can communicate with the entire team effectively. It's also a large enough number that the map can offer geographically distant objectives that a team must allocate their resources intelligently, but not to be spread too thin. We talked about this a little bit earlier today. I would assume that at a given time, it's probably going to be a majority of like 3 players per team on the field, because one's probably going to be dead and one's going to probably be recalled doing the store stuff, or less, or they could all be alive at the same time. But I think like average is probably gonna be like 3v3. So we'll see. Starting out, before each match begins, players select their class and talents like they currently do. But before spawning in, players are introduced to the merchant for the first time, and they'll probably present, they'll present the player with their first 2 boon choices. Each boon choice will give the player 3 options, of which they must choose 1. Okay, wait. Their first 2 boon choices. So it looks like at the beginning of the game, we'll be able to buy 2 things. The first boon will be an offhand gauntlet, and the second will be a rune. So we will always get an offhand gauntlet at the first, but like I said, it's gonna be 3. 2 will be missing. I would assume that we'll only have a choice of 3 runes as well, but we will have those reroll options, those 3 reroll options. We'll talk more about boons and the merchants below. Okay. Players also start with 0 armor but with 70 max mana and +3 run speed, roughly equivalent to a rare amulet and rare boots. Oh, nice. That's actually kind of sick. I love that. The map. Once the match starts, players will find themselves on one of 4 different maps at launch. There are maps for Dustpool, Halcyon, Bogmore, and Himwood. Surrounded by a red. So I wonder if Himwood is going to be the change. It doesn't look change, actually. Never mind. So I don't know. Surrounded by a red storm that will be instantly exile any players who foolish enough to touch it. I'm going to touch it immediately and see how it feels. This forms the hard boundary of the map, forcing players to stay in a fairly small play area. I like that. On the map and in HUD elements, 3 control zones are visible: the Moon Zone, the Sun Zone, and the Star Zone. The primary way to win in Dominion is to capture and control these zones. To begin capturing a neutral zone, simply enter and remain within its radius, which is that sound effect that we heard, where she like charges it up and then says the Moon Zone is now yours. The HUD indicator will begin filling, representing the progress towards capture. Once the progress bar is full, the zone's ring turns blue to indicate the zone is fully captured. So it goes from that gold color to the blue, which is I guess would be yours. Maybe it's red if it's enemy zone. Note, capturing is accelerated if multiple teammates are within the zone area. So that's what Destiny 1 used to do. Destiny 2 took that out. I'm glad that they have that in this instead. A zone becomes contested whenever players from both teams are nearby. I wonder what the nearby is. Like, is it a cylinder? Is it a dome? Like, what is it? This freezes the zone's progress, or is it like flat on the ground, preventing it from being further captured. When a player is exiled, they will respawn above a zone that their teammate controls after 15 seconds. So I wonder, I guess it doesn't change as like the longer you go. So every time you die, it's just 15 seconds. If their team does not control any zones, they will respawn at one of the 2 starting spawn locations. Gaining points. Points are gained in 2 ways. For each of the above zones a team controls, they will earn 1 point every 10 seconds. If a team doesn't control any zones, no passive points are earned. If a team has 1 zone, they earn 1 point every 10 seconds. If they have 2 zones, 2 points every 10 seconds. That's really quick. If they have 3 zones, they'll earn 3 points every 10 seconds. For each player a team exiles, they'll earn a point, multiplied by the number of zones they control. That's exactly how Destiny does it, and I love that. If a team has 0 or 1 zone, an exile is worth 1 point. If they have 2, so wait, if you have no zone or you have 1 zone, it's 1 point. That seems a little weird to me. It should be 2, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. If they have 2 zones, an exile is worth 2 points. If they have 3 zones, an exile is worth 3 points. Note, exile in the Valguard does not, I guess, we don't know, I guess that's what the Valguard, I guess, okay, we'll get into it right here. Does not count towards these points. So they got assist, exiles, next level at 7. I don't know what that means. But yeah, so it's gonna be red when it's the enemy's, blue when you're capturing it, blue when it's yours. There are scrolls on the ground. I wonder what that's about. Valguard. Another new thing we'll encounter on the map are NPC Valguards. These spawn in pre-designated areas in groups of 3 and have little UI markers over their head to differentiate them from players. They're relatively weak, but will engage any player who comes near. They'll stay near their spawn area and won't capture any contest zones, or will capture or contest zones. And once the Valguard is in a group, Valguards in a group are dispatched, the entire group will respawn after 20 to 30 seconds. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. We have a little jungling, huh? We have a little jungling. We got a little jungle going on. 20 to 30 seconds. Most importantly, especially early in a match, Valguards drop loot and have a chance to drop scrolls. Okay. That's actually huge. It's like a snowballing factor. So it is basically like jungling, which is pretty sick. One thing players won't find on the map, however, are chests. In order to gain or upgrade gear, they'll need to hunt down the Valguard or pay a visit to the merchant. So we won't drop our loot. I wonder if we'll drop scrolls, but not our loot. Only things that's gonna drop loot are these guys right here. So they have this little indicator. Okay, so it was those little guys that we saw on the thing. Next level is 11. I wonder what level that is. And this is filling up right here. Interesting. Okay. The merchant. God, there's a lot here, dudes. There's a lot here. The merchant. As players deal damage to other players and to the Valguard, the boon gem in the lower right of the HUD, which is this, I guess, which you guys can't see. I mean, you might be able to see. My camera might be in the way. I'm sorry. If it is, I apologize. As players deal damage to other players and to the Valguard, the boon gem in the lower right of the HUD will slowly fill in. Players can fill this gem up to 3 times to store their charge, to store 3 charges. I wonder if that's related to the rerolls. We'll see. While waiting to respawn, players can exchange 1 boon gem charge for a new random boon. Okay. A boon can be any of the following: gauntlets, either class gauntlet or offhand, runes, or blessings. I wonder if oh yeah, it says right here. We'll get to it. All gauntlets and runes offered as boons are guaranteed to be better rarity than the player currently has. However, it may not be the same type. I don't like that. but I like that it is a better rarity. So we could technically buy a new rarity and then maybe switch it later for a different one, just upgrading that rarity. So it might be better to just buy things because it's a better rarity and then hope for the best, but we'll see. We'll see. When at the merchant, a player can press reroll. When at the merchant, a player can press reroll to see 3 new options for their boons, which is those 3 rerolls I think we have. Of note, the RNG for boons uses a deck such that any rerolls or subsequent offers won't repeat earlier choices until all options have been cycled through. That's fucking awesome. So it is a controlled RNG type of thing, which is pretty sick. Each player has 3 rerolls available per match. So per match. So those 3 rerolls that we saw in the image is only per match. You won't get that every single time you go. It's purely pure match. There's only 3 rerolls, so don't use them unless you absolutely need to, is from what I'm getting. There's also a soft catch-up mechanic where if a player is exiled by another player, while they don't have a charged boon gem, they will receive a free bonus boon. Oh, that's kind of cool. Players are stackable buffs blessings are stackable buffs that last for the remainder of the match. They're only available as boon rewards. They are currently 3 different blessings. Armor blessing grants 20 max armor. Mana blessing grants plus 20 max mana. And speed blessing grants plus 3. I wonder how many you can get. I wonder how many of these you can get. Because you might be able to be fast as hell. If you're running with the new decks, plus these plus 3, you could probably be zooming, dude. Zooming. But how can someone visit the merchant if they're having a good game and not getting exiled? By recalling. So we knew we could recall. If they have at least 1 charged boon gem, they can recall to visit the merchant and respawn afterwards. To recall, hold the use key, default F on PC for 8 seconds while not otherwise focused on a usable object. I think 8 seconds is also the control point timer, but we'll see. I mean, that's what it seemed like from the audio cue. Recalling restores a player's health and armor to max and spawns them above the location they recalled from. That's actually huge, dude. Okay, so this looks like the blessings right here. The bottom left, plus 40 mana and shield probably, right? Mana and shield. Let's see if we can see anything else. You can get potions. So these do change based on how much you got. Okay. Interesting. Okay. What's changed from Battle Royale / Clash? Leveling instead of leveling when a circle boundary is crossed. All players level simultaneously at predetermined times in the match. So level 2 for your class is gonna be 2 minutes into the match. Level 3 is 4 minutes into the match. Level 4 is 8 minutes into the match. Circle, there's no closing circle. It's fixed and unmoving and deadly, as mentioned. So don't go into the circle. Amulets, belts, and boots. These do not exist in Dominion. Your armor, speed, and mana can be upgraded through blessings at the merchant, which is, I love that. I love that you also start with rare, minus your mana, right? It was just sprint. No, it was mana and sprint speed minus your shield. Scrolls. Players always drop a random scroll when exiled, and the Valguard have a chance to drop it. So players will always drop it. So we still can use those 2. It's gilded and what's the other one? Athletic. So we can still use athletic and gilded. Pretty similar. It seems like pretty easily. So those might be huge to snowball, especially for the gear one. Dropping gear on exile players do not drop their consumables or other gear, so they drop nothing. All right, wrapping up. Phew, that was a lot to cover. We're very excited about Dominion and getting everyone playing. 2 final notes before we leave you. Are you ready? We'll be talking more about this tomorrow, but Dominion will be the featured mode for the launch of leagues in Chapter 2. So with Chapter 2, Clash will be going away for the time being. We're telling you now so you can get all your big score games in before the patch lands and Clash ends up in the vault while we all hop into Dominion. Interesting. So Clash is leaving, and Dominion will be the featured mode for launch. It doesn't say it's going to be the only mode, but it does say featured, and it says the, and the is bold. So I'm thinking that we won't have it for Battle Royale, which is huge, and I love this decision. I also think it's really cool to take out Clash because the modes are kind of similar, I think. Clash is gone. Clash is gone. No shoe for Dapper. No shoe for Dapper. Dapper, congratulations. You don't have to eat a shoe. However, we might get you a cake in the shape of a shoe. So if anyone wants to bake Dapper a cake, for the shape of the shoe, please do that. That's the new mode. It's called Dominion. It's the 5v5 capture point mode. It does look like they innovated a little bit, like they added a buy system type of thing, which is cool. The mode itself is very copy paste from like Destiny Control, which I love Control. It's like one of my favorite ones other than Gambit and Trials. Those are my favorite ones. But of base modes, like purely like for fun modes, I love Control from Destiny. So I'm pretty huge. It does look like there are pots, but if there aren't and they aren't easy to get, Vampiric's gonna be pretty cool with that one. But anyways, guys, tell me what you think down below in the comments. If you're in chat right now, say goodbye to YouTube because we're about to peace out. But guys, I love you. I'm excited. We'll see more to come in the next couple weeks. Maybe this week. We'll see. Guys, peace.
Yo, I'm hungry. Where them Cheetos at? They stay biting like where them mosquitoes at. I'm on point like an elbow. Hands red like Elmo. My mama said, have you had enough? I looked and I said, said, no ma'am, I go ham in the grocery store or Spanner and Takis. Buying it with my